My family said I worked like a bee but would never get anywhere and poured all resources into my brother instead. But everything changed when they discovered how much honey this bee had gathered. I'm 29, been working as an assistant property manager for the last 6 years, making $43,000 a year. Well, I quit 3 months ago, but my family doesn't know that yet. They don't know a lot of things about me, actually. Sunday brunch at my parents' place. They live in this cookie-cutter McMansion in the suburbs. 4 bedrooms for 2 people because Dad's a middle manager who likes people to think he's more important than he is. Mom sells real estate but has never actually invested in it, which is ironic, considering what I'm about to tell you. I was sitting at their dining table halfway through some dry chicken breast when Mom walked over to my younger brother Tyler with an envelope. Not a birthday card or anything, just some random Sunday in April. Tyler opened it. His eyes went wide. "Holy blank, are you serious?" Dad grinned like he just closed a business deal. "You're ready, son. Time to invest in your future." Tyler pulled out a check and held it up. $15,000. But wait, there's more. Dad also handed him pre-approval papers for a $400,000 mortgage that he'd co-signed. Our future homeowner, Mom said, practically glowing. Tyler's 25. He got fired from a startup last year for literally sleeping at his desk. He Venmo requests our parents for gas money every other week. His credit score is so bad that Capital One sends him rejection letters as a courtesy, but sure, he's ready for a $400,000 mortgage. I kept chewing my chicken, which suddenly tasted like cardboard and disappointment. "That's awesome, man," I said, and I meant it sort of. Here's the thing, though. What they didn't know, what none of them knew sitting there celebrating Tyler's big moment, was that 2 weeks earlier, I'd sat in a title office and signed papers on my second property, a triplex. 3 units all rented, generating $2,100 a month. And they had no blank clue I already owned a 4-unit building I'd been quietly running for 18 months. But I wasn't about to tell them that, not yet. Mom looked at me like she just remembered I existed. "How's your apartment, Marcus? Still in that same place?" Still in that same place. Like it was a holding cell I'd eventually get parole from. "Yeah," I said. "Actually, I've been thinking about buying something. Maybe a small family property." The reaction was immediate. Tyler literally spit his orange juice back into his glass, laughing. Dad set down his fork and looked at me like I just said I was joining the circus. "Marcus, come on. Do you even know what a cap rate is?" I did, actually. I could calculate it in my sleep at this point, but I just shrugged. "Investment property is way over your head," Dad continued. "You manage apartments, you don't own them. Big difference." Mom reached over and patted my hand. In that way, that's supposed to be comforting, but really just feels condescending as heck. "We just want what's best for you, sweetie. Maybe you should focus on renting something nicer first." Baby steps. Baby steps. At 29, then Uncle Frank showed up. Dad's older brother owns a couple car dealerships, never lets anyone forget it. He walked in wearing a polo shirt that probably cost more than my monthly rent, grabbed a plate, and immediately inserted himself into the conversation. "What are we talking about?" "Marcus thinks he's going to buy investment property," Tyler said, still smirking. Frank laughed. Actually laughed, and clapped me on the shoulder. "Look, kid, not everyone's cut out for investing. Nothing wrong with being a worker bee, right? Somebody's got to rent those properties." Worker bee. The table went quiet for a second. Then, everyone just moved on. Started talking about Tyler's house hunt, what neighborhoods he should look at, whether he should get a home inspection or waive it to be competitive. I excused myself to the bathroom, stood there staring at myself in the mirror, the one with the stupid live laugh love sign next to it. I didn't punch the wall, or yell, or have some dramatic breakdown. I just went cold. Made a decision right there that I wasn't going to tell them a goddamn thing until I was so far ahead they'd get whiplash looking up at me. On my way out, Mom caught me in the hallway. "Oh, I meant to tell you. I saw Sarah on Facebook last month, my ex-fiancée. We broke up 2 years ago. She's engaged now," Mom continued. "The ring is gorgeous. She looks really happy." I smiled and nodded, even though mentioning Sarah was like pressing on a bruise that never fully healed. "That's great for her," I said. "But that's a story for later." I drove home in my 2009 Mazda 3, pulled into the parking lot of my apartment building, the one above the laundromat, where the walls are so thin. I can hear my neighbor Derek's entire life falling apart at 2 a.m. Sat in my car for a minute, watched that check engine light glow. Then I smiled because what they didn't know, what none of them sitting in that McMansion knew while they toasted Tyler's future, was that I'd already started. 2 weeks ago, I closed on my second property, a triplex, for $122,000. But the real kicker, 18 months earlier, I'd already bought my first building, a 4-unit apartment complex, been a landlord this whole time, and they never asked enough questions to find out. I was already cash flowing $511 a month. While they were planning Tyler's first house, I was already building an empire and they had no idea. I pulled out my phone and texted my boy Jamal, the only person who knew what I was really doing. Just left my parents' place. Tyler got $15,000 and a cosign for his house. He replied immediately, "Damn, you tell them about your property." Nope. Good. Let them sleep on it. Keep building. I started the car and drove home. I had a property to manage, tenants to take care of, an empire to build, and a whole lot of people to prove wrong. 2 years ago, I was engaged to Sarah. We'd been together for 3 years and I was planning to propose. Had the ring picked out and everything. He took $2,800 at a local jeweler. I was also saving for my first investment property, at the same time splitting my savings between the two. Then one night, Sarah came over and just ended it. "I need stability, Marcus. A real plan." I told her I had a plan. Told her about the property I was saving for, how real estate could set us up for the future. She looked at me like I was delusional. "That's not a plan. That's a fantasy. I need someone who's grounded." She left, took her stuff over the next week, blocked me on everything. About 6 months later, I ran into her friend Jen at the grocery store. Jen had a couple drinks in her and told me something I wasn't supposed to know. "Your mom called Sarah, had a whole conversation about you." My stomach dropped. "What?" "Yeah. Like a month before Sarah ended things. Your mom told her she was worried about you. Said you were a nice guy, but you'd probably never really amount to much. And Sarah should know what she was signing up for." I just stood there in the frozen food aisle, processing that my own mother had sabotaged my relationship. I thanked Jen, went home, and made a decision right there. I was going to build everything Sarah said I couldn't, and my family was never going to know about it until I was already successful. Returned the engagement ring the next day, got $2,400 back, added it to my property fund. That was 2 years ago. Since then, I've been saving like my life depended on it. 4 years total of saving, but the last 2 years were different. I had something to prove. I kept my assistant property manager job, $43,000 a year. On weekends, I did handyman work for $40 an hour cash. Learned how to fix everything. Jamal's a mortgage broker. Been my best friend since high school. When I told him my plan, he didn't laugh. He just helped me build my credit and get pre-approved. While saving, I was learning real estate courses, 14 books, Bigger Pockets forums. After 4 years, I had $28,000 saved. Found this apartment building, 4 units, needed work. Owner was tired of dealing with tenants. Listed at $165,000. We settled at $160,000. That was my first property. Closed on it in October 2.5 years ago, 6 months after Sarah left. Took the worst unit and lived in it for the required year to satisfy the FHA loan. Once that year was up, I moved into a cheap apartment above a laundromat to maximize cash flow. Rented out all 4 units. That building was already making me $400 a month when Tyler got his $15,000 check. They just didn't know it. Then 3 months ago, I quit my property manager job, started my own property management company. Instead, found 3 small investors who needed someone to manage their properties, charged them 8% of monthly rent. Between the 3 of them, I was making $2,800 a month. Combined with my own building's cash flow, I was making $3,200 a month more than my old job, and I set my own schedule. And my family had no idea. At Sunday dinners, Mom would ask, "How's work? Good, busy?" She never asked what I was busy with. 2 weeks before Tyler got his $15,000 check, I closed on the triplex. Found it on Zillow at 2 a.m. Foreclosure property, looked rough. $135,000 asking price. After negotiation and inspection issues, got it for $122,000 with a $3,000 credit. Used another FHA loan, put down $4,445. Total out of pocket $7,645. I'd lived in the 4-unit for the required 12 months and moved out, so I qualified for another owner-occupied FHA loan on the triplex. Told the lender I'd be moving into one of the units, which was true for exactly the minimum required time. That's the loophole most people don't know about. Jamal helped me through the whole process. "You own 2 buildings now, bro." He said, "Yeah, and nobody knows but you." He raised his soda. "Keep it that way." So when I sat at that brunch listening to them talk about Tyler's big house plans, I just smiled because I was already 10 steps ahead. Later that night, my phone buzzed. Text from Maria, one of my tenants at the triplex. Hey Marcus, sorry to bother you, but the kitchen sink is dripping pretty bad. Can you take a look? I texted back. I'll be there tomorrow morning. 900 a.m. work? Perfect. Thank you so much. I set my phone down and looked around my small apartment. The water stained the thin walls, Derek's music still playing. This was what Sarah missed out on. Not just the money or the properties, the purpose. I wasn't just existing anymore. I was building something real, and I was doing it completely alone. A kid me. 3 months after that brunch, I was standing in an empty fourplex at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday holding a flashlight because half the electrical didn't work. Jamal was next to me, shaking his head. Bro, this place is rough. It's perfect, I said. The listing had been up for 2 days. Fourplex in a C-plus neighborhood, foreclosure, bank-owned. Asking price $168,000. All 4 units were rented mouth-to-mouth, bringing in $2,950 combined. The place needed work, peeling paint, outdated kitchens, that electrical issue, but the bones were solid. I'd already run the numbers about 50 times. With a conventional loan at 20% down, my mortgage would be around $1,100. After taxes, insurance, and setting aside for maintenance, I'd clear about $1,130 a month in cash flow. Problem was, I only had about $11,000 liquid after closing on the triplex, needed $33,600 for the down payment. That's when Jamal suggested something I'd been reading about but hadn't tried yet. He locked on your first building. You've got equity there, a home equity line of credit. Basically borrowing against the value of my apartment building to fund the next deal. Riskier, sure, more debt. But the math worked. Got approved for a $40,000 at 7.5% interest. Used $34,000 of it for the down payment and closing costs on the fourplex. We closed in early August. That's when the real work started. Every single weekend for 2 months, Jamal and I were at that fourplex painting, fixing cabinets, replacing light fixtures, patching drywall. YouTube University taught me most of it. The rest I learned by screwing up and doing it again. One Saturday, we were there from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Monsieur Jamal was mudding drywall while I rewired outlets in Unit 3. We ordered pizza that never showed up because the delivery guy couldn't figure out which unit to go to. This is insane, Jamal said, covered in drywall dust. You know that, right? Probably. You're moving way faster than most investors. You sure you're not taking on too much? I stopped what I was doing. Every day I wait is another day they're right about me. He got quiet, then nodded. Fair enough. During all this, family dinners kept happening. I'd been skipping some, but mom guilt tripped me into coming to Tyler's big closing celebration dinner. Showed up still sore from demolishing a bathroom the day before. Tyler was walking everyone through photos of his new house on his phone. 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, granite countertops, the whole suburban dream package. The backyard is huge, Ashley said, zooming in on a photo. Perfect for kids someday. Everyone oohed and ahed. I said congratulations. Ate my pot roast and left after an hour. Told them I had work early the next morning. What I actually had was more drywall to finish at the fourplex. By October, all 4 units were renovated and fully rented. Total monthly rent $2,950. My mortgage $1,100. Payment $220. After everything I was clearing $1,130 a month. Combined with my 4-unit building $400 per month, the triplex $511 per month, and my property management business $2,800 per month. I was making $4,841 a month total, more than my old job ever paid me. That night, I sat in my apartment and did something I hadn't done in a while. Opened up a spreadsheet and looked at my actual numbers. 2 properties owned. Combined value, $282,000. Total cash flow, $1,530 per month, passive. Property management income, $2,800 per month, active. Total monthly income, $4,330. I was 29 years old. No college degree, no family money, no inheritance, and I was building something real. My phone buzzed. Text from one of my property management clients asking if I could take on another building for them. I replied yes. Then I opened Zillow and started looking for property number 3 because I wasn't done yet, not even close. November hit, and Uncle Frank sent a group text to the whole family. Big announcement, got a new lake house. Everyone's invited for the weekend. No excuses. Bringing the boat out one last time before winter. I stared at that text for a solid minute, trying to think of an excuse not to go. Jamal texted me separately. You going to that lake thing? Thinking about bailing? Don't go. Smile. Let them talk. You know what you're building? They don't. He was right. So I went. The lake house was exactly what you'd expect from Uncle Frank. 3 stories huge deck boat dock the works. Probably cost him $600,000. He was outside grilling when I pulled up in my Mazda parked between Tyler's Audi and Dad's Lexus. There he is, Frank yelled. Glad you could make it, kid. Inside the place was magazine perfect. Mom and Ashley were in the kitchen making some kind of fancy salad. Tyler and Dad were on the deck with drinks. Jessica and her husband Tom were setting up cornhole in the yard. I grabbed a soda from the cooler and tried to blend into the background. Dinner was on the back deck. Frank grilled steaks. Everyone was drinking, and within 20 minutes they were on me again. Career advice from Uncle Frank. Dating advice from Ashley. Tyler asking what my plan was. Same apartment, same car. Mom saying I needed to settle down. Dad agreeing I was wasting my potential. Same blank different location. You got to take some real risks, Uncle Frank said. Build something. The irony wasn't lost on me. You're right, I said standing up. I should take more risks. Where are you going? Mom asked. Getting some air. I walked down to the dock, sat at the end with my feet hanging over the water. The sun was almost down. Everything was quiet except for the sound of them laughing back at the house. My phone buzzed. Email notification from my property management software. One of my tenants had submitted a maintenance request. Leaking faucet unit 2 at the fourplex. Then another buzz. Text from Jamal. Property number 3 just hit the market. Duplex $98,000. Divorce sale? Motivated seller. You in? I texted back. Send me everything. 30 seconds later, my phone lit up with the listing. Duplex on the east side needed cosmetic work but structurally solid. Both units rented at $875 each. Total rent $1,750 per month. Listed for $98,000. Jamal called immediately. You see it? Yeah. What do you think? I looked back at the lake house at my family celebrating Frank's success at Tyler, probably on his 4th drink. At all of them who thought I was going nowhere. I think we should make an offer tonight. Tonight? Don't you want to see it first? I trust your judgment. What do you think it's worth? Honestly, it's priced right, maybe slightly under market. The divorce thing means they want it gone fast. I'd offer $95,000. Do it. You sure? I've never been more sure of anything. We hung up and I sat there for another minute. Checked my bank account on my phone. Between my savings and available credit, I could swing the down payment. This would be property number 4. My portfolio would be worth over $560,000 total. And I was sitting on a dock at a lake house owned by a man who called me a worker bee 2 months ago. I walked back to the party. Mom was by the grill talking to Frank. You okay, honey? She asked. Yeah, actually, I need to head out. Already, you just got here a few hours ago. Got some work stuff to handle. Uncle Frank turned around, spatula in hand. Work stuff on a Saturday night. See, that's your problem, Marcus. You don't know how to relax. You're going to burn out working for other people. I smiled. Yeah, you're probably right. Dad walked over. Stay for dessert at least. Your mom made her chocolate cake. Can't really got to go. Tyler stumbled over, clearly drunk now. Bro, you're always leaving early. What's so important? Just got something I need to take care of. What, someone's toilet broke? He laughed at his own joke. Something like that. I said goodbye to everyone, walked to my Mazda and got in. Through the big windows of the lake house, I could see them all inside now, laughing, having a good time. My phone buzzed. Jamal offer submitted. $95,000. I told them we can close in 3 weeks if they accept. I backed out of the driveway and headed home. Let them have their lake house and their stakes and their assumptions about my life. I had an empire to build, and 3 weeks from now, I'd own another piece of it. The duplex seller accepted my offer the next morning. $95,000. Close in 3 weeks. No inspection contingencies. Jamal called me at 8 a.m. with the news. They're desperate. Signed the acceptance before their coffee got cold. We closed in late November. Needed about $4,200 in cosmetic work paint, new carpet in 1-unit cabinet hardware. Spent 2 weekends doing most of it myself. Both units stayed rented through the whole process. Final numbers, $19,000 down payment. Mortgage, $620 per month. Rent, $1,750 per month. Expenses, around $240 per month. Cash flow, $890 per month. That brought my total passive income to $2,931 per month across 4 properties. Add in my property management business at $2,800 per month. I was making $5,731 total. I was clearing more money than I ever had in my life, and my family thought I was struggling. I'd been avoiding Sunday dinners for like 6 weeks. Mom kept calling, leaving voicemails about how I was becoming a stranger. Finally went to one in early December. Tyler and Ashley were already there when I arrived. Tyler had this weird energy like he was excited about something. We made it through the appetizers before he stood up. Ashley and I have an announcement. We're pregnant. The room exploded. Mom started crying immediately. Dad hugged them both. Jessica squealed and started asking about due dates. I clapped along, said, "Congratulations." Meant it mostly. "This is wonderful," Mom said, wiping her eyes. "Our first grandchild." The rest of dinner naturally revolved around baby stuff, names, nursery ideas, all that. Then Dad said it. "You'll need more space eventually. When you're ready to upgrade, we can help again. Family investment." Tyler nodded. "Yeah, we've been talking about that." I cut into my turkey and kept quiet. Jessica turned to me. "What about you, Marcus? Still doing property management, real estate investing now?" The table got quiet. "Investing?" Dad asked. "What do you mean buying properties, renting them out?" Tyler laughed. "Dude, you'd need like $30,000 just for one down payment. Where would you even get that? I've been saving." Dad set down his fork. "Marcus, be realistic. Investment property isn't for beginners. You could lose everything." Mom touched my hand. "Maybe you should go back to school first. Get your MBA, then maybe look at real estate." Uncle Frank chimed in. "I know a guy who lost his shirt on rental properties, had to file bankruptcy. It's not as easy as YouTube makes it look." I took a drink of water. I appreciate the advice. The conversation shifted back to Tyler's baby. After dinner, Tyler pulled me aside. "Between you and me, my mortgage is killing me. Barely breaking even most months." The golden child was struggling. "Just be careful if you try this." I almost told him I owned 4 properties instead. "Thanks for the heads up." My phone buzzed. Email from Jamal with a new listing. Single-family house near a state park, $142,000. Good area for short-term rentals. I stared at that listing while drying a plate. Property number 4. I forwarded it to Jamal. "Thoughts?" he replied. "Could work as an Airbnb tourist area. I can run the numbers tomorrow." I grabbed my keys and slipped out the side door. Jamal called as I was backing out. "You serious about this one? Run the numbers. If they work, let's move." The house closed in mid-January. Owner-occupied loan 5% down $7,100. Instead of long-term renting, I furnished it as a short-term rental. Spent $5,800 on furniture. IKEA, mostly Facebook Marketplace for the rest. Took photos with my phone and a cheap tripod. Listed it on Airbnb in late January. Booked within 3 days. By February, that house was averaging $3,800 a month. After mortgage, utilities, cleaning, and supplies, I was clearing $2,150 a month more than both my other rental properties combined. Total portfolio 5 properties, $5,801 a month passive. Plus property management, $2,800. Total monthly income, $7,881, almost double what my old job paid. Still driving the Mazda 3. Still living above the laundromat, but now it was a choice. Late February, my phone rang. Unknown number. "Is this Marcus Hayes?" "Yeah." "Hi, Marcus. My name is Jennifer Green. I'm a reporter with Metro Business Monthly. We're doing a feature on young entrepreneurs in real estate. Your name came up in public records. You've purchased 4 properties in 18 months. Would you be interested in an interview?" I almost said no immediately. "Can I think about it?" "Of course. Here's my number. Let me know by Friday." I hung up and sat there. Called Jamal. "A reporter just called me. Wants to interview me about my properties." Silence. What should I do? What do you want to do? I don't know. Part of me wants to stay under the radar. And the other part I didn't answer. "You've been invisible for 2 years, man. Since Sarah? Since your family wrote you off? Maybe it's time they actually see you." I called Jennifer back the next day. "I'll do the interview." The interview was at a coffee shop on a Wednesday afternoon. Jennifer Green showed up with an actual notebook and pen, not just her phone. Mid-30s professional asked good questions. "So walk me through how you started," she said. I told her everything. The 4 years of saving, the courses I took, the 14 books I read, the weekends doing handyman work for $40 an hour, living in a tiny apartment above a laundromat to keep expenses low. Did your family help you get started? Loan you money for down payments? I paused. This was the moment. No, they didn't help. They didn't even know I was doing this. She looked up from her notes. They didn't know, nope. They didn't think I was capable. Still don't, actually. Why not? Because I'm not the golden child. My younger brother got $15,000 cash and a co-signed mortgage from our parents. I got told to rent something nicer and take baby steps. She was writing fast now. So, you did this completely on your own? Yeah. Me and my best friend Jamal, he's a mortgage broker. Helped me navigate the financing, but no family money, no inheritance, just saving and learning. How much are your properties worth now combined? About $687,000. They generate around $4,600 a month in passive cash flow. And you're 29. Yep. What would you say to other young people who feel like they don't have advantages? I thought about it. That success isn't given. It's built property by property, decision by decision. You don't need anyone's permission to win. She smiled and wrote that down word for word. The interview wrapped up after about an hour. She said the article would run in early March. Gave me a heads up that they'd want to use a photo. Jamal took the photo the next week, me standing in front of the fourplex, arms crossed, slight smile. I felt ridiculous posing for it, but Jamal said I looked like I meant business. This photo is going to make people mad, he said. Good. The article dropped on a Tuesday morning, March 8th. Jennifer emailed me the link at 7 a.m. I clicked it. Headline, From Property Manager to Portfolio Owner. How one 29-year-old built $687,000 in real estate without family money. Subheading, Marcus Hayes spent 2 years building an empire in silence. Now he's ready to share his story. There was the photo of me. Below it, a full breakdown of my 4 properties, the monthly cash flow, the timeline, everything. The article went into detail about my methods living cheap, the Mazda 3, with a check engine light I never fixed, learning from YouTube, and books doing my own repairs. There was a section about starting after a difficult breakup. They didn't name Sarah, just said, a painful end to a long-term relationship became the catalyst for Hayes to focus entirely on building financial independence. And they're highlighted in a poll quote, success isn't given, it's built. I didn't need anyone's permission to win. I sat there staring at my laptop screen, reading it 3 times. Then my phone started going crazy. Mom calling. I was at property 2 fixing a leaking faucet. Let it go to voicemail. Dad calling. Ignored it. Tyler calling. Ignored it. I checked the family group chat. It was chaos. Mom had sent 6 messages in all caps demanding I call her. Dad wanted to talk immediately. Tyler kept saying, "This has to be fake, right?" Ashley asked if this was really me. Jessica was sending shocked emojis. Uncle Frank suddenly wanted to talk business. I watched the messages pile up, watched them process something that didn't fit their narrative. By noon, I had 21 missed calls. I turned off my phone, sat in my truck outside property 2, just breathing. This was real now. No more hiding. Jamal pulled up about 20 minutes later. I'd texted him before turning off my phone. He got in the passenger seat. How you feeling? I don't know yet. You know they're losing their minds right now. Yeah. What are you going to do? Nothing. Let them sit with it. We sat in silence for a minute. Sarah's going to see this, Jamal said. I hadn't thought about that. Probably. How's that feel? Like I just won something I didn't know I was competing for. We grabbed lunch at this taco place nearby. I kept my phone off the whole time. Jamal kept checking his and laughing. What, your article's getting shared all over real estate groups. People are asking questions. You're kind of blowing up. Great. This is good, bro. You're inspiring people. Maybe. Or maybe I just wanted my family to see what they missed. Got home around 6 p.m., turned my phone back on, 49 missed calls, 127 text messages. The family group chat was chaos, panic, confusion. Uncle Frank claiming he always knew I had potential. At 10 p.m., I responded, yeah, it's real. Built it myself. No handouts needed. Then I drove to the triplex and sat on the front porch. This was the building I'd owned when they handed Tyler that $15,000 check. When Uncle Frank called me a worker bee, I'd owned this the whole time, and they had no idea. For the first time in 2 years, I could breathe. They finally saw me. Thursday morning, my phone had 34 new messages. I ignored all of them except one. Mom, please come to dinner Sunday. We need to talk as a family, please. I stared at that message for probably 10 minutes. Finally replied, what time? 4:00 p.m. Thank you. I didn't respond after that. Sunday was 4 days away. 4 days for them to process that everything they thought they knew about me was wrong. I spent those 4 days working, fixed a garbage disposal at the fourplex, handled a checkout at the Airbnb, met with a potential new property management client, lived my life like normal because it was normal now. Sunday came faster than I wanted, but I was ready. I showed up at 4:20 p.m. on Sunday, 20 minutes late, on purpose. Wearing a hoodie and jeans, hadn't shaved in 3 days. Tyler's Audi was in the driveway, still making $680 monthly payments on it. Walked in. Everyone was already sitting at the dining table. Mom's eyes were red from crying. Dad looked tired, older somehow. Tyler and Ashley on one side, Jessica and Tom on the other. Uncle Frank was there too. Of course he was. I sat down in my usual spot. Nobody was eating yet. They'd been waiting for me. Dad cleared his throat. Marcus, we read the article. Okay. 5 properties, $687,000, all in less than 2 years. 18 months, actually. But yeah. Mom leaned forward. Why didn't you tell us? We're your family. I did tell you at brunch, remember? You laughed. Silence. We didn't think you were serious. Exactly. That's the problem. Tyler spoke up. Bro, this is insane. How did you even afford the down payments? Saved for 4 years. $28,000. Every spare cent. 4 years. While we were... He stopped himself. While you were getting checks in the mail. Yeah. Uncle Frank tried to jump in. Look, Marcus, I think there's been some misunderstandings. I cut him off. You called me a worker bee at your lake house in front of everyone. Said I should stick to renting. I was just trying to give advice. You made me feel like blank for wanting more. And now you want to talk business, right? That's why you're here. Frank shifted uncomfortably. Well, I mean, if you're looking for investors or partners, I laughed. Actually laughed. Nah, I'm good. Worker bees don't take on partners. Dad set down his fork. Son, we owe you an apology. Yeah, you do. I told you real estate was over your head. I was wrong. Mom started tearing up. We should have believed in you. Should have supported you. You should have, but you didn't. And that's fine. I didn't need you to. But we could have helped. We could have been there. I looked directly at Mom like you were there for Sarah. The table went dead quiet when you told her I'd never amount to anything. When you warned her she was making a mistake, were you planning to be there for me? Then Mom's face went white. How did you... She told me eventually after she left. Said you called her. Had a heart-to-heart. Told her I was a nice guy, but probably not going anywhere in life. Dad turned to Mom. Is that true? Mom was crying harder now. I thought I was protecting her. You were protecting Tyler, making sure I stayed small so he could stay big. Tyler tried to defend himself. That's not fair. You asked me to fix your house. 8 hours of work, free. Ashley posted about it like you did it. You didn't even say thank you. I didn't know she was going to post. You never stopped her either. Ashley finally spoke. I just thought it was cute. You thought it was content. Nobody said anything. I stood up. Here's the thing. I forgive you, all of you, because holding on to this is exhausting and I've got better things to do. Mom reached for me. So we can start over. We can... No, we're not starting over. You can't unsay what you said. You can't give me back those 2 years. Then what do you want from us? Nothing. That's the point. I don't need anything from you anymore. I looked at Tyler. Good luck with the house, man. And the baby. I mean that. Looked at Uncle Frank. Enjoy your lake house. He looked at Mom and Dad. I'm not angry. I'm just done pretending we're something we're not. You can call me if there's an emergency, but I'm not coming to dinners where I'm the punchline anymore. Please don't do this. I'm not doing anything. I'm just choosing myself for once. I walked out, got in my Mazda, started it. That check engine light glowed like always. Through the window, I could see them all sitting there processing. I backed out and drove away. 6 months later, property number 6 closed in September. 6-unit apartment building, $340,000 purchase price. Put down $68,000 using a combination of HelloLock and cash savings. Monthly cash flow $2,900. Total portfolio 20 units across 6 properties, $7,981 a month in passive income. I posted about it on LinkedIn for the first time. Photo of me holding the keys to the 6-unit. Standing in front of it, big smile. Caption: property number 6 started with $28,000 and a dream. Built with discipline, sacrifice, and zero permission from anyone. To everyone who told me I couldn't, thank you for the fuel. To everyone grinding in silence right now, your time is coming. Stay focused. Stay quiet. Let your results do the talking. The post blew up. 3,200 likes in 2 days. 487 comments. Tyler liked it. Didn't comment. Mom commented. So proud of you. I didn't respond. Then I saw another comment. Sarah M. This is amazing, Marcus. Really happy for you. 10 minutes later, a DM. Can we talk sometime? I think I made a mistake. I read it twice, then deleted the thread without responding. That evening, I was sitting on the porch of the triplex property number 2, where it all started. When Dad called, I let it ring. Listen to the voicemail. Hey son, it's Dad. You were right about all of it. We didn't see you. We didn't believe in you. What you've built, I couldn't have done that. I'm sorry I made you feel small. If you're willing, I'd like to take you to dinner. Just us. Call me back if you want. I'll understand if you don't. I saved the voicemail. Didn't call back. Not tonight. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe never. But I saved it because growth isn't about burning bridges. It's about building new ones on your own terms. When you're ready, the grind continues. But now I'm not grinding to prove anything to anyone. I'm grinding because I love it. And that makes all the difference.